Living water window cleaning.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty long.
It is
Yeah,
a little long. I was gonna say.
I feel that people, customers, what's the word? Just it takes forever for them to write the check.
Write it down.
Their patience is on the fringe. So.
I thought my name was difficult to write on a check because it's so long, my birth name. And then I'm like, no, there's some things that are more difficult than my name.
Yeah.
But everyone, welcome back to BBB Sharing. I'm Evie, Director of Ignite, sparked by BBB. We are here in the Ignite podcast studio once again, and I have Ethan with Living Water Window Cleaning.
What's going on, everybody? It's Ethan.
Ethan, thank you so much you are the talk of the office. Honestly, everyone is like, he's so young. I can't wait for him to come in.
That's amazing. I did not know that.
So I'm going to ask a rude question. I'm sorry. How old are you?
I'm 18.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You are a very successful 18-year-old. So tell me what your story is and how you got into what you do.
Sure, for sure. So I'm 18, as I said, but I originally founded the company when I was 16.
Oh, cool.
And I had actually, so I went to high school 9th and 10th grade. In 11th and 12th, I just focused on the business while I was technically homeschooled. And I had just focused on that. And for the past like year and a half, that was like my focus. That's what I did every day for the most part, except for like the dry seasons and whatnot. That's the short version of it, I guess.
Instead of
there's a lot more.
There's probably a lot more like fill in the blanks there.
Oh, yeah.
But what was the hardest thing, like when you decided that you wanted to focus on being a business owner, what was the hardest thing that you had to do to start off?
Probably giving up, sacrificing finances, time, resources, energy, because you have to give up all those things to an extent you aren't comfortable with. And you also have to be comfortable with not seeing an ROI, return on investment, right away.
Yeah.
You have to be okay with trusting that's going to work out. And so in that uncertainty, you can find a lot of difficulty. You can find a lot of hindrances and a lot of anxieties because you don't know what's going to happen.
It's that unknown. I think my dad is a business owner in Harrisonburg, Virginia, and he came to the States when he was 16 from Greece. And one of the hardest things for him was when he started working out, a lot of people wouldn't hire him. And so he's like, well, I'll work for free for a week, hoping that he would like see a return on investment for his work ethic. Lo and behold, here he is, like 30 years old. He owned that diner one day. And then moved to Harrisonburg and opened up his own businesses. So I think it's just having that discipline. It really takes a certain type of person to be a business owner.
Yeah, totally. But I will say that the younger you are, the less risky it is because I'm living in my parents' house 16, 17, 18. I don't have much of a risk of not making progress. Versus if you're an adult, you have to make progress to be able to afford your life, not become homeless. So I will say if you're young out there, go ahead and start now. Because the first step is just taking the first step. And there's no perfect start to anything. You just have to go out there and make it happen. For me, it started in door-to-door. Door-to-door sales is the best start to any business, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because especially I'm biased because experientially, that's what I did. But it was so good because you have zero marketing cost and you're just going out using your time and energy. And then that ends up turning into finances for you.
And it actually is great for you too, because I just think historically you see a lot of young men helping a lot with, in residential areas, like mowing lawns or cleaning up leaves and stuff like that. So you have more of a trustworthy dynamic to begin with.
That's true.
And I think that that's really good advice because some people are scared. They're like, well, I'm too young. You're not too young to start it. It's just it's not a thing. It's an excuse when you say that. I feel like.
Yeah, definitely.
So going forward, what are you hoping to see in the future with your business?
Totally. Honestly, I'm really faith-based. I let God take the lead. I'm a Christian. And so I try to let God just decide what's going to happen ultimately. Now, I, of course, have free will to make the decisions, but I'm led by the Spirit, which lets me know what the next move is. I'd say a long-term vision, because you're still supposed to have visions, would be to have like multiple trucks, multiple employees, and end up just keeping the business going that way, kind of automated in that way. And that's kind of the long-term vision. Yeah.
I hope you always have those continuous ambitions and goals, because seeing my dad and then us as a family working in those businesses, there's always something new, a new idea or a new add-on. And that's what keeps you going forward as a business owner.
Definitely.
One of the things, your faith-based, I love that. I will say, when I was starting this job, I almost did not accept it. I was really, really scared. I was like, I prayed every night. I was like, should I do this? And you'll hear Barry say all the time, he's like, God knew what he was doing, sat you in front of me, and I knew. So I completely agree with that 100%. What was the dynamic like when you went from being in high school with all your friends and then switching to homeschooling? What was that like for you?
That's one of the hardest things I've ever done. I'll explain why. Because when everybody's doing something, you feel like when you're not doing it, you're doing something wrong. Yeah. And so I left high school. I had a clothing brand called Goliath Athletics, faith-based.
I was going to ask you about that.
You knew about it?
Well, I told you, the talk of the office.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Wow. So I had that, and I left school because I thought that was gonna be my thing, and it ended up not, for the good, because it started the window cleaning business, which is doing better. But I really hit this low point in the winter of 2022 going into 2023, because Goliath Athletics had gone downhill by my, I guess, my not laziness, but my lack of taking care of it. And I knew it wasn't what I wanted to do long term. So I had this time in the winter where I was just kind of like alone, not sure what to do. Everybody's in school making progress with their life, and I felt like I was a nobody doing nothing with my life, to be real with you, because I wasn't doing what everyone else was doing. And people were like, there's always chatter going around like, why aren't you in high school and stuff? What are you doing with your life? For like a couple months that lasted. And then I was like, I got to figure out what to do. So I ended up getting spend all my money on the window cleaning equipment. And then from there, it felt like God absolutely changed my life. I'd been praying for something to do, and then that started, and I knocked doors every day for like months on end, and then built the business, and then everything flipped around. I went from nothing to like something. And then I was like, wow, it was actually a good decision to stay out of high school, because otherwise I wouldn't have the opportunity I have right now.
I think that's amazing. Praying for purpose. I think what people don't understand is when you don't have purpose in your life, you really lack that drive and that discipline to do the things that you want to do. We're individuals for a reason. I was talking to this gentleman a long time when I first started doing the podcast. I asked him, I was like, what's the key to success in maintaining employee retention, especially in restaurants, because it's really hard right now. And he said, I'll tell you the same advice that this other guy gave me, and he owns chains across the entire US. He said, always hire the A. And I mean, I had an epiphany at that point. I was like, he is so right. Because when you hire that A student, what are their key concepts or their key characteristics? They're always very focused and they follow the rules and they stay in their lane. You know what I mean? And so what do you see the students that are the most often in CEO or leadership positions or business owner positions? They're usually the students that got like C's and D's.
That's right.
And so really, once I learned that, I was like, it's so true, because that individualism kind of makes you a little bit of a rebel in school. It makes you think outside the box, and they're trying to keep you in the box. Sorry, I'm a little cynical about this.
No, yeah, I'm like right there with you. We completely agree on pretty much everything you just said. I have really strong feelings about school and college and whatnot, but we can get to that another time.
Yeah, I went to college because it was either go to college or work in the restaurant, and I didn't want to work in the restaurant, so I went to college. Yeah, but it ended up working out great because now I'm here, and awesome. That was one of the things that Barry wanted. So
very good.
And how can people reach you?
Like for window cleaning?
Yep.
Just through phone number.
Yeah. Phone number, and do you have an email address?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. It's Ethan@livingwaterwindowcleaning.com.
Awesome. Ethan, thank you so much for being in here today. I told you 10-15 minutes. It was going to go by super quick. I wasn't going to ask you anything scary. It wasn't scary, brother. Okay, awesome. Everyone listening, please make sure to follow us, like, and subscribe on YouTube, BBB Central VA. And if you are listening on Spotify, BBB Sharing. And also make sure to follow us on LinkedIn and Facebook. It is Better Business Bureau serving Central Virginia. Thank you.
Ignite, sparked by BBB, where conversations are taking place to change the future.